Eat that shit.
Oh, hi. We're the Jeep Life Podcast, and this is our live edition. I guess I forgot to unclick the mute button, so I'm going to go back down the list. Yeah,
That's great.
I
All
suck.
right, there you go.
So what you didn't hear was me saying I figured out the technology for
the past.
I figured out the technology and made it even better
That's
for our live listeners at home, so that you could see how things are going, and obviously it's going swimmingly. Mike was the first one on. Dustin, hey, how's it going? Christina, Kat, how's it going? Jason, Mark, Tesla, how you doing? What's up, Canada? Yeah, you got your pin light. It is a little bright. I like it. Yeah, he's on. Dave Gerard, my man. Sammy, hey, how's it going? And then all my people let me know. Hey, what's up, Mike? Good to see you the other night. And I wish we'd have talked about Fred a little bit, because I saw him, I think the day after I saw you, Michael. But I hope I have sound now. Thanks, everybody, for letting me know about that sound. Yeah. Sometimes I know the technologies, and sometimes they, what Sam Elliott once said, sometimes you get the bar, and sometimes the bar gets you. Well, I got gotten by the bar. But tonight we're really excited about this show. It's going to be a lot of fun. Anytime Don can get prepped, he's done the good work. But anyway, I think the show looks good right now. I've kind of figured out some of the technologies for that. And what's up, Pete? Peter Torres.
Front engine? Yeah.
Our hot boy extraordinaire. Yeah, so we're just hanging out on a Monday night. Sorry, everybody, about last night, but sometimes doing Jeep things.
408 LS stroker, all forged internals.
Takes us away from doing Jeep things.
Intake 600 plus horsepower, just rebuilt.
So we'll give it another minute or two to let other people come on. While you're there, why don't you go out and share this? Let's see if we can get a few more people. And if everybody could, in the comment section, just hit me up with where you're at. It can be as specific as you want to be. I can get your home address and stalk you that way, or just tell me where you're located. Somewhere in Southern California, Oklahoma, wherever.
44.
That'd be great. 44, right? I want to hear, and we'll give a shout out for locations. Oh, Mike, your couch. You could have been first from anywhere. Looks like we got Pennsylvania for Christina. I knew that. She's on the other end of the state from us. There's my hey, congratulations, Kenny, my good man. Our Predators aren't doing so hot right now, but congratulations for you. Jason, I didn't need to know that. Michael from Brian Diggsville, so close. All right. Oh yeah, Peter, that's a new location for you. Thanks, Gary. You're in Northeast PA. Nice. Yeah, no doubt. I want to stalk you, Mark, but I need a few more Patreon subscribers for me to be able to do that. I've got the greater Boytown area.
Why is Jason saying what I'm thinking?
I don't know. There's my good friend Chris from California. That's in Northern California. I like that.
Off Camber Central working on Jeeps. I love it.
I do too. This is awesome. So I need to have a timer on this page and be able to give ourselves a cutoff note. But I feel like we're in a good place to go ahead and hit that button.
So we're at 5 minutes ish.
All right. Well, then we'll wait just a minute and see if we can get somebody else on here. We got
share it out real quick.
Got some Vermont going on as well.
Share it out real quick. I'm going to give you 1 minute while my notes load. And I would like to talk first about Armor Light, number 1.
Oh, dude.
And their drain plugs. And as we're coming up to that winter season of trying to warm your Jeep up and also, protect your floors from all that salt and brine and everything, I'm talking about you Northeasters people where, I don't know what you Florida people have down there.
Alligators.
Alligators and sunshine. But they got rain. They got a lot of rain and stuff.
They do.
Yeah, they do.
They do.
Yeah. Even when you're getting in with your muddy boots and stuff, if you're down in Florida in the wintertime, it still helps protect the floors. It helps the sand, the heat, the sand, the grime, the grit.
Everything.
Just wash it all out. A little bit of soap. Don't use Armor All. Ever.
But they do have a new pink color for breast cancer awareness, which is pretty awesome. And they allowed listeners to kind of pick that, so that's kind of cool. Or their customer base, I guess.
Yeah.
To pick that. But we'd like to thank them because we do have a discount code for that.
Jeep Life Podcast 10.
Perfect. Who else do we partner with?
We partner with Power Tank, which they help you air your tires back up when you're off the trail. And they have a discount code, JeepLifePod15. And then if you're looking to get all of that exhaust from your engine all the way back to the end of your Jeep and make it sound pretty. Yep. You're going to head over to our best friends over at Pipes, and they have a discount code as well for free shipping right now, and that's Jeep Life. And then obviously our best friends who teach you all about the trails and how you want to respect them and how we want to preserve them for future generations to use.
Yes.
You want to head over to Tread Lightly, and they're giving you 50% off of their $50 and $100 memberships. That means it's $25 and $50.
Yeah, it's a great deal.
Just for you.
It's a great deal. And it's a process, so if you need help with that,
and then
instant message us
when you need some help
podcast.
getting back into your Jeep after picking up that piece of trash, you're going to want to head over to our best friends at Rockslide Engineering to get hooked up with some awesome rock sliders and steps to help you get back in that lifted Jeep of yours. And they have a discount code right now, Jeep Life 10.
Yep.
And when you're getting into your Jeep and you're looking for that flashlight.
Oh, yeah.
And you can't find it right now.
Yeah. It's dark already.
Because it's already dark outside because it's starting to get darker as the days go on.
Effing winter.
Yeah, I know. But you're going to want to head over to our friends over at Off Camber Lighting, and they're giving us a 20% discount right now, Jeep Life Pod.
Yeah.
And that's going to get you hooked up with all of your lighting needs for your grab-and-go flashlights, your pen lights, as Mark Campbell just got one.
Oh, yeah.
And he absolutely loves it. Said it's bright as shit.
Yeah, we love it.
Quote, unquote.
Quote, unquote.
So
excellent. I think we've shared it out. We're
and now let's hit that live button.
I'm going to hit that button and enjoy. Hello, and welcome to the Jeep Life Podcast. We're the Jeep Life area that celebrates life in the Jeep.
What are you saying? The Jeep Life area. No. You know
Area
what we
51.
do?
What do we do?
We live it, we eat, we breathe it, we sleep it, everything.
Everything.
The Jeep life, dude.
We do it all. And
Eat, breathe, sleep, Jeep smiles per mile. It's all about it.
all about it.
Pavement, ground, dirt, doesn't matter. Let's put our tires on it.
I love it. It's all Jeeps all the time.
All Jeeps all the time.
That should be our slogan, but it's not. Maybe it will be. Who knows? But I'm joined here. This is Terry. I'm one of your hosts, and I'm joined with my good friends, Don. How you doing over there? What you buying?
No,
looking at
he's
wheels
researching.
right now.
He's already researched.
I've already researched.
He's the most prepared man in podcasting.
I'm geared up. Now
Yeah.
I'm looking at polished beadlock wheels.
Of course you
Wait,
are.
have you seen the new KMC 253s? I think they are.
Yes.
That just got
Are
put
those
on
the one
Mischief
that,
Maker.
is that on Holly's Jeep?
I think I gotta see.
That's awesome.
Oh my God, they are beautiful.
Yeah, and it definitely. I love the fact that wheels completely change the look of a Jeep. Completely.
Yeah.
It's
Beautiful.
I love it.
I can't.
And I joined over here by my youngster, Bill. How we doing, man?
Youngster.
I feel like it's been almost 30 minutes since I saw you.
Take that back, youngster.
Youngster. I love it. But we're coming live for those people viewing us at home. And if you're not viewing us at home, you're missing out on a treat. We always have a good time before and after the show. Yeah, go ahead.
Billy, our product specialist.
Yeah.
What?
Warrants the cost of a Terraflex Nomad wheel?
How much is it?
$365.99 too much.
Right. It's not a great. I mean,
It's a good looking wheel,
yeah.
and it's got 2 valve stems. That's cool, but
there it is. You pay for the extra valve stem.
No, so it's not just a valve stem.
Yeah.
That's like a whole valve system that it's a quarter turn valve system.
Oh, that's
quick
right,
release.
right.
Like it's not just like you unscrew it.
Yeah,
there's
that's
an
right.
actual
There's
like
the
seals
mechanism.
and
But
mechanism
still, though,
and stuff.
$365.
That's a lot of
Is that
money.
like a forged one piece wheel?
That's
Is
a
it
lot of
forged from
money.
kryptonite?
It might as well be.
That is crazy for a non-beadlock wheel.
I don't know.
So if you got $365 times at least 4, maybe 5, go out and get those, and then let us know what you think of them.
Let's see.
While you're researching that, we missed last night doing our normal
we were
recording.
doing badass shit, man.
We were, and by
We were-
badass shit, we were living the life.
We were doing bad Jeep shit instead of bad dog shit. We're
Yeah.
doing bad Jeep shit.
We love doing parades, and we were
so much
in the Emmaus community parade, Halloween parade, and it's a great little parade. It's one of the big ones in the area, and I know we're in eastern Pennsylvania, so a lot of people didn't see us, but it got aired on the local TV. But we had 12 Jeeps, all decorated, and one of the Jeeps with us actually won a contest. Don, you weren't there, but these guys decorated their Jeep like a pirate ship.
I saw that I saw pictures
Did
of
you
that.
see pictures
Yeah,
of it?
It
yeah.
was sweet.
It was so
Yeah.
well engineered
Yeah.
and looked amazing. I couldn't
They
believe
put
it.
some serious time into that.
Yeah, they won $200,
Good for them. They deserve it. When you put that
Oh,
kind of
for
time
sure.
in. Yeah. I
and
saw
the whole
it.
family was dressed in pirate outfits.
Who had the green TJ with the laughing or that mummy thing in it? That was pretty cool
That
too.
was in Mike's Jeep.
That was Mike's.
Oh, was it?
Yeah, it was his
Yeah, that was
JK.
pretty
yeah.
cool.
Yeah, it was Mike's
Yeah.
Jeep.
Yeah, the whole thing was really super cool, and one of
I didn't bring
one of the
anything.
gladiators had this blow up clown
I
that
saw that.
was like 20 feet tall. It was
What do they call those? Like the used car places
Yeah,
always
it-
have them. Yeah.
flailing arm man,
Yeah.
Noodle
but-
Man.
Yeah, but
The
it was
Noodle
in
Man.
a clown form,
Yeah.
and it was awesome. We had a good time. You were doing burnouts in the street,
don't know what
raising up and down on your
I don't know
buggy.
what you're talking about. I
Yeah.
didn't bring anything special.
And I had all the
It's gonna be
Halloween
awesome until
music
he's got to
blasting.
replace those stickies.
Well, the thing was, it was so cold out they wouldn't smoke.
No,
Really?
not at all.
They were so cold that they just
It was
I
a
would
zzz.
I would stop and they would just start chirping in the rear
That's
end
funny.
because it was so cold out.
Yeah, so it was a good time, and I love, we do a lot of wheeling here on the podcast, but to be honest with you, man, any time we get to do just Jeep life stuff like that,
I know.
it blows my mind, and I love every second of it.
Bad Jeep shit.
Yeah, right. And it was a lot of fun. Kids were screaming and having a good time. And
Everyone loved it.
loved
the
it.
Jeeps.
Loved it. And
All of them.
So shout out to my Jeep enthusiasts of Eastern Pennsylvania peeps. We're all part of that club here, and it just was.
I got to
pretty.
start watching the Facebooks a little closer. I didn't even know about it.
What I need to do is I need to watch the Facebooks a little closer and then text you.
Yeah, you really should.
goes,
I suck at
We had
watching the
open
Facebook.
spots, man.
Yeah,
I know. If I'd known, I would have come out.
I had an open seat, man.
I
But
know,
I had somebody on a diet sitting next to me.
It
It was a skeleton for everybody.
Yeah, well, I had nothing.
Yeah.
But on the way to work today, you and I sometimes carpool,
Yes.
and it's good to just have that time to.
It felt like
It was
an
it
eternity,
was the longest
man.
drive ever, and it was
We
the same amount of time that we ever.
We started and it was dark out.
Yeah,
And then the sun started to come up, and then it started to rain, and then the sun finally came up, and it was a beautiful sunrise.
it was a beautiful sunrise.
And then we hit another like weird kind of snow shower squall.
What? Are you
something.
kidding me?
And then it was like a volcano went off, and then there was an
There's an
earthquake.
ice caps melting.
A polar bear jumped out in front of us. I had to.
It's a long drive you guys were on.
It was an adventure. Let me tell
Oh
you.
my gosh!
But while we were on that, there was an interesting question that came up on the interwebs, and the basic question is: I looked under the hood, and does anybody know what this second horn of my horn is?
The best part about it was,
Yeah.
here you go, is the fact that you said to send it to you because it's the only way that's going to get in the show notes.
Yeah.
And I said to myself, oh, I'll remember. And I completely forgot about this.
Yeah. And so read the question.
So, all right. Here's the question to begin with. Never noticed this before, but why are there two horns under the hood of a Jeep, Jk, any of them? Anyone know the reason why?
Can I answer it?
Hold on.
Oh,
There's an amazing answer.
Well, because I answered it while he's
Reading.
blabbering on the next part of it, which is
Okay, go ahead.
so wrong.
There once was a man with 3 testicles. He always was self-conscious of it. After years of therapy, he mustered the courage to tell someone. To his best friend, he said, "Hey, buddy, between us, we have 5 balls." To which his best friend said, "Oh, my God, you only have 1?"
See, this is why people leave Jeep groups on Facebook. They just leave because jackass is like that. But
And
of
the
course
real
it's
reason,
hilarious.
next comment down
So
says,
wait, I
dual horns on a vehicle are tuned a fourth apart, for example, as A to D on the musical scale. The same interval as the first 2 notes in the Eyes of Texas. This was found through research by the railroads to be the interval that the best moves cattle off the track so the train could pass without incident, and of course it carried over to the automotive industry. Really?
So Don, did that align with?
Well, it's a low note and a high note.
Yeah,
I like to test
it
it.
is a fourth. And I actually said there's a harmonic reason
He was correct.
for it because it is tuned to a fourth as
Right.
a general
If you've
rule.
ever heard one burn
Yeah.
out, like they're weak as hell.
Yeah. And
I
it,
only
it-
have one
and
on
that
mine.
allows it to project
Resonate correctly.
right. And
Yeah.
it a lot of times when you do a single note, it projects in the direction of the horn.
Right.
When you add, and I'm a musician, when you add another
Well, from an engineering
tone,
standpoint.
when you add another tone, the vibrations actually work together to move
to get a wider
Right.
range of
Right.
interesting.
Yeah, and it
I
actually
knew it was
also
a dual,
increases
like
the volume.
right. So I knew, you had a low note and a high note, and the idea was to increase, not necessarily how far you hear it away, but
Yep.
people's ability to hear it. Like it's
Right.
just more prevalent. I didn't know exactly how or why. I do now, and I'll stick that in the shit I don't need to know, but it's a really cool box.
Yeah, and I mean, if we wanted to get in an engineering standpoint, there's
So-
actually an acoustical reason.
It has
because
to do
the
with the
force,
sound waves and the
force
energy
creates,
that are in
yeah, it actually creates the harmonic spectrum above it
and,
and allows them to do this and
So it
push.
travels.
Yep.
You get a wider spectrum. In
Yep.
other words, you have better. I don't know. It carries better.
Harmonic overtones. Yep,
Is that
that's
what it is?
exactly
Okay.
what it is.
Huh.
if you look at it in a sine wave, they actually amplify each other. And
I
they
will
help
make a
each
40-minute lesson out of that tomorrow.
You should. I mean,
Those kids are gonna be like, "Well, what the hell?"
just first thing,
Well,
I'm
bring,
gonna-
bring
no,
one,
I'm gonna-
bring
I'm
one
gonna-
wired in, and you just
It's-
start the lesson with honking the horn.
Yeah,
It's
Did
really
you hear
cool
that?
because it's
It
something
is.
that they can hear.
yeah.
And
I think we're gonna talk
Yes.
about that tomorrow.
Yeah, and so
I might
you've
have to.
got two horns under there.
Yeah.
You use them both.
Yeah.
You don't
Nice.
use one if you just put the left side of your thing.
Yeah.
or,
Yeah.
push the right side of your steering wheel for this pitch, left side for that. No, you hit it.
That would be
Both
kind
of
of
them
cool
come
though,
up.
because if
It
you're
would.
musically talented like you, I'm sure there's something.
It could drive out something. Wait. This is a good comment. I think the horn is my least favorite part of my Jeep. Time to upgrade.
I have train horns too. I just gotta
of course,
reinstall.
Canada says train horns. I'm going to.
Canada. We refer to Mark now.
I'm going to veto those train horns because it never
Yeah.
fails. I soil myself every damn time.
When they're in the shop, I'm like,
Because
it's about 3 years off my life every time.
every time if somebody has them, if you don't use them and only use them when necessary, fine. But when you pull into any parking lot with another Jeep, you got to lay on lay off the train horns. I love it. But I love that you found that question.
I just like the answers. It's hilarious.
It is.
Because it was the first answer. Like the first comment on the. It's like the top comment because everybody likes it. It's so funny, it's a
Yeah.
joke. But it was just cracked me up at 7:30 in the morning or whatever. Ass cracked on in the morning. It was.
Which it just I love it. So tell me about some events coming up. Who wants to?
Wait.
Yeah.
Okay, so I do
So
have.
I can tell you why the Nomad.
I
wheels
was
are
just
so
going to say it to
expensive.
you.
All right,
So the
let's
reason
go back to
why
the
they're
wheel.
so expensive.
This is important
There's
stuff.
a couple reasons.
Yes,
So first,
I've read the whole thing.
they're a highly balanced wheel. So that requires a lot of machining and precision
Correct.
work. So number one, because it has a dual valve stem in
Right.
it, and one is weighted more than the other.
Right.
That's number one. Number two is they're actually 358 T6 aluminum, which is a different casting process. And also it has a special heat treatment afterwards. That's the second thing. Third thing is obviously they claim they can hold 40-inch tires. They are a full bead lock. And
Oh, it's not a bead lock. That's just a rash ring. It has a knurled edge on it. The ones that I'm looking at have a knurled edge, and they
locking
claim
bead set knurling allowed for safely.
that's but it's not a bead lock. So it's just a rash ring on the outside.
Yeah.
And this is one of the this is just another reason why this wheel is worth money. But they claim that they'll hold damn near as low a tire
10
pressure
10 psi.
Wow.
as a bead. So bead locks you can go down a little
Yep.
bit lower. I mean, you could probably do 2, 3, 4 psi in a bead lock, but
Yep.
10 guarantee on 10 is pretty damn good.
Yeah.
Method 704s are claiming 8.
I bet you could do 8 with these.
Probably.
These
Well,
so
with that rash ring, that also helps keep the
you can
sidewall.
oh yeah,
you can
so you can
replace
replace
them.
them.
Exactly.
I mean, so okay, this at first I was like, screw you, Terraflex, but now I'm like,
No,
maybe I need a set
Terraflex-
of those. Yeah,
Terraflex, if you're listening.
yeah, I'll take a set of those to try, man.
Screw you.
So-
Yeah, right.
So here's a couple other things. In their whole design of that Schrader valve system,
Yes,
it's not a Schrader valve. It's
No.
it's an actual valve.
Yes,
Which is completely rebuildable without taking
I
the
saw
valve
that.
out.
I know.
What?
So you leave no pressures
Yeah.
lost, and
Yeah.
you can completely rebuild the valve.
Dude, these wheels are
That's some
badass.
right,
I'm
right.
serious.
Yeah, you're
And-
paying for some
And
engineering
to
there.
boot,
Yeah.
that valve can hold 3,500 psi.
That's a lot of PSIs. I can't even count that high.
That's pounds per square inch.
Now
That's-
here's something.
That's like
why,
2 of your pinky knuckles put together. That's an inch.
Why would they do a lug-centric design on such a quality wheel like that? Why would you not do a hub-centric?
Oh, it isn't hub-centric?
No, it's lug-centric.
Interesting.
Is the
lug centric?
are the hubs different between a Jk and JLs?
No, but
no, but
the OEM
bolts
are.
So you
the lug
can,
nuts.
if they're lug centric, you can run 2 different lug sizes.
Huh. So that's what it is. That's why they did it, so they can run it the same wheel on the Jk and the JL.
And also lug centric, it's easier to you more balance like the whole wheel, and it's.
Well, no, you want to be hub-centric. Lug-centric is when you get the problems.
Is that when it?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
you're just
For some-
all your
so I'm
pressure's
gonna
on
be
5
honest,
bolts versus that
most-
ring
Yeah.
and hub.
Most of the time when I tighten up my lugs, I put the wheel on and I tighten them like
Do the
2
star
lugs.
pattern.
I do 2 lugs at a time
Right,
to kind of pull it in,
Right.
and then I do the star pattern
right.
just because
Right.
it's. If I just set it on and go like 1, 2,
Yeah.
3, 4, and just base it on the hub, it will not.
It won't sit.
It won't sit right.
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 All of my wheels, any
Yeah, you
set
get
of
a-
wheels,
you get
I've
a-
always
you-
put it on that
You
way.
get a better ride from hub-centric than
Yeah.
you do lug-centric. But to be honest with you, so much stuff is lug-centric anymore,
Yeah,
like
and
aftermarket.
They may say
technology's
also
changed,
it's
too.
hub centric, but when it comes down to it, with a beveled style lug,
Yeah.
it's going to be lug centric in the end because of how it pulls itself in.
Right. That little lip
Yeah.
That angling.
fits in there.
And
Anyway,
that's
they're
actually
cool.
designed in
It
a
is cool.
specific way at a 60-degree, or I think it's like a 58-degree angle or something.
Oh, interesting. That's engineering for you.
And we always learn something on Jeep Life Podcast.
It's true. It's true. We learn from each other. We learn from the
Yeah.
interwebs. Actually, I have Dirty Dog 4x4 has provided us
With some
with
cool stuff.
another
Giveaway.
giveaway.
Giveaway
We have-
time.
We have the front and rear this time.
Yes.
It's in red,
Yes.
and it's sitting on my table right in front of us.
Yes.
Front and rear, and I would like to give that away, not tonight live on the show, but I would like to somehow give that away.
What are we gonna do?
I don't know. So we're going to give our. Here's what we're going to do.
I got one.
You got one?
I got one.
You got one?
We will watch the Facebooks for an Instagram for a code to enter a Kahoot Contest quiz based on what we're going to talk about tonight, and the highest score gets the
Oh.
yes indeed.
All right. Are you going? You're going.
I'll
Your
set it
response
up.
for that?
I got this.
We
All
don't normally have good participation. This
Well, we're going to this time.
Yep.
Yep.
is a big product. This is a good one.
It's a great product. It's front
Maybe
and
we'll
rear.
run this for like
mesh
2 or 3
sunshade.
weeks.
What with that?
Well,
yeah.
we have so it's going to have to be the first 25 because we're limited to 25.
25
Right.
on Kahoot. So first 25 get in, and then
Well, so
the best
25
score.
could last a week. It could last a day.
Right.
Right.
So
Right.
there you go. First
Yep.
25.
First
First
25.
25.
Yep.
So we'll put out Don. You're responsible for that on the Facebooks and
Well, I'll get
Instagrams.
you guys the codes because I don't do the.
All
I
right.
suck at the social
All
medias.
right, we'll figure it out. But we'll do that. And the winner
Yeah.
of the quiz
Yeah.
gets it. And
So for anybody who's not familiar with Kahoot, just put Google's the Kahoot, and and then there's going to be a number code when
Yep.
it comes up. You just hit play and you put in the code. You have to enter your full name. Okay, don't put in anything we can't identify you by. And then you go ahead and play the game, and you're just going to answer a series
Don't
of...
put like bend over.
Right.
Well, do. But
I mean, you
then
can, but
won't-
we can't get a hold of you then.
Right.
So,
Peter says the sunshade when today's high was 56. Yeah, it is definitely hit fall now, going into winter. But shut the hell. Pete.
nobody asked you.
That's right.
You got your free shit. Go away.
Yeah, right. No, but it's free. It's free. Free is for me. I don't care.
Yes.
I'll use it to keep
Look,
warm.
hold on.
I'll use it to keep warm. Oh yeah, you got free.
This store's really easy to the spring.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
You'll be fine, won't you? You could wrap yourself up in it and keep warm in the winter if you needed to.
Blanket, yeah.
Right.
Yeah, but you could put it on now and leave it under your
Absolutely.
top.
Yeah.
It's
In fact, I think I'm going to do that.
it's a great product.
Yeah.
So we'll do that Kahoot. Thanks, Don, for coming up with that.
Yeah.
That's a lot better than I wasn't even prepared for anything.
It's almost as good as the shot collar
Mark
game
at
we
4
came up
inches
with.
of rain on Friday. That's wild.
Yeah, well,
Out there in British, like everything's dinosaur big out there. The trees, the
really is.
rocks, the rain.
it really
Doesn't
is.
stop snowing until June.
No. All right, let's go to some events, shall we?
What?
Some events. This is the event time of the show.
Oh,
Yeah, I know. I transitioned from that.
cool. You know where I'm going to be first?
Where are you going to be first?
Nowhere. But you know what's going to happen first?
Yeah.
Jeeptoberfest, October 15th. Wait, that's happening. No, that was last weekend.
Was it? Oh, has it happened?
That happened.
Take out the top two then.
That one happened.
That one happened. Yeah.
Oh.
Had 2 days in a year.
So, all right. So, clap. Start this over
Yeah,
again.
I'll edit. Yeah.
So we got some events coming up right now, and our first event is Boo at the Zoo Creepy Jeep Contest, and that's October 23rd at Cape May Zoo. And let me tell you, that's going to be an amazing time down at the Cape May National Zoo, and it's amazing down there. It's free. It's awesome. They have great, spectacles to see down there, and also there's going to be lots of spectacles of.
Go vote for your
Jeeps.
favorite scary Jeep.
Yep, maybe that's the word of the night. Spectacles.
Spectacles.
I don't know. Next, we got Jeeptoberfest, October 23rd in Pigeon Forge, and Mummy is the theme. So make sure you
spectacles.
not spectacles. Make sure.
Mummy.
Well, the spectacles can be on the mummy.
They can be.
Mom.
Mine.
What?
Then we got
Oh, these guys.
then we got Trunk or Treat at Hanoverville Roadhouse in Bethlehem, Pennsylvania, and that one's for Frank because I think they're sold out.
They might be sold out.
I'm pretty sure they're sold out because Frank's a wild man.
Nope, park up the street
I'm
and,
gonna
and
park
walk
on
over
top
and
of
get some
Frank's
candy.
Jeep or something.
Yeah.
Myrtle Beach Jeep Jam is October 29th to the 31st, and that's in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. So make sure you're down there. And let me tell you, we are definitely going to try to do our best to be at this next great event. I'm definitely going to try to be there.
Yeah, we'll have a presence there.
Yes, we will have a presence. And I've heard that they're giving upwards of $10,000 worth of raffle prizes away at this event. So go up, buy raffle tickets, buy raffle prizes, Wheel to Heel, and that's put on by Apex Off-Road, Mission 22. Jeep Life Podcast is going to be there. We have a whole bunch of other clubs that are going to be showing up. I know a lot of people are already messaging me saying, hey, are you coming? I want to see the buggy there. I want to see you there. I want to see the podcast there. I want to see Don there. I want to see Terry there. I want to see everybody.
Everybody.
Nobody else says I want to see Don there. They're like, who's the other guy that comes and talks once in a while? So what did Mike said something about you could buy your raffle tickets online.
It is all online.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, they
An
want you to
Eventbrite.
buy it online.
Right.
Upwards and upfront.
So, but I mean, we can do that, up front.
yeah.
Yeah.
Did we say where that was? What
So
website?
it's all posted on the show notes.
Yeah. It's in their Eventbrite.
Okay.
So
and
Apex Off-Road will hook you up with the event, and you can navigate through Apex Off-Road events page, and that will take you to the Eventbrite. Or you can search Mission 22, Apex Off-Road, Wheel to Heel, all in the Google searches.
You'll find it.
Yep.
I
Awesome.
promise. Yeah, and they do great work. It was a great event last year. There's some ability to do a guided ride if you want, or if you just want to go out on your own with another Jeep or a couple Jeeps. That's cool too.
I think guided rides are limited. So
They are
if
limited.
you are looking for a guided ride, get on that quick.
Yep. Excellent.
Now
Man.
we're talking about wheeling with some electric stuff or something of the sort.
Well, he stole your transition
He did.
tonight.
Like
He's on fire. Did
He
you
is.
do like the whole vendor or our whole partners thing?
I don't know. I'm gonna put the eject button back
Dude,
in the
he
Jeep.
might have to ejecto-cedo.
Yeah.
Ejecto seat, cuz.
Man.
But yeah.
It's like, what is it? What did he take you?
I don't even know what to do now. He
I don't know,
just
it's like
took my
brain
job.
cocaine tonight or
I'll-
something.
I'm gonna go over here and sit down.
Rambling stuff off like he's like the auctioneer or something.
Yeah.
That's good stuff.
But Don,
Came to party tonight.
it's time to go to class.
Let's do it. I want everybody to sit back in your seats, close your eyes, because I'm going to take you
Terry,
on
I
a
got
story.
the paper footballs over here, man.
Yeah, right. I got you.
Hut,
I got a story for you. So, back in 2007, we hit the recession. Gas prices went sky high. We were $4.50 a gallon.
You mean like
We're-
they're going up right now?
Yeah, no kidding. $3.55 today. Thank God it was only $30 to fill the Honda. But gas prices went super high, so I went on one of my research benders and just kind of trying to figure out what was going on. And there's a lot of reasons that fuel went high, but ultimately, one of the biggest reasons was it was
Because
supply.
Brandon.
Yeah, it was supply and demand.
Always is.
We hit peak oil. We
Yep.
actually literally were selling more fuel than we were able to produce at that point in the United States.
Yep.
So it wasn't that we weren't pulling enough out of the grounds, it's that the refineries were at peak.
Not processing
Correct.
fast enough.
But what it sparked was a interest in what's our longevity look like with burning fossil fuels.
100 years.
So there's a lot of variables that go into that, and I did a lot of research, and I found a lot of documents and a lot of interviews and forums and a lot of leaked content. And when I say like I went on a bender, this was months and months of sitting in a dark basement, combing through the like I totally geeked on it.
Going to the Library of Congress.
Yeah. Right.
Took 2 trips down to D.C. just to make sure
Absolutely.
everything was
Yeah.
up
Do we
and
need
up
to have
and
an
up.
intervention over here, Don?
No,
We
it's in the
should have
past.
at that point. It
It's
was
in the
pretty
past.
bad. Yeah, we're good now. I recovered.
All right.
So short version of a long story is
So if you need somebody found, Don is your guy.
maybe right. So short version of a long story, we have, depending on which report you look at and depending on variables, we have 35 to 100 years of easy access oil. There's more, but that's what's easily accessible right now. Now that 35 to 100 years is pretty. There's a lot of variables. So.
Yep.
Third world nations, how quickly do they develop and start using more fossil fuels? How quickly do we develop technology? Economies play into that, things like that. So policies. Worst case scenario, 35 years long. Best scenario, about 100 years is what a lot of these reports were saying. So what happens is United States, China, Russia, we're not giving our oil up.
Right. No.
But it ultimately, the bigger countries go after the smaller countries. It really is the downfall to civilization. And so, not being the bearer of bad news, but we know we've got to make changes. Welcome to Doom and Gloom on the Jeep Life podcast. But anyway,
I'm buying one of those Tesla, like whatever
Model X.
Ford crate axle motor John ski, whatever they are. Have you seen these things?
No, but I'll tell you what, we'll get into that because that's what's unique about this, and I know where you're going with that.
Yeah.
So ultimately, we know that we've got to make some changes, right?
Yes.
And so ultimately, the reality of it is there are so many variables. Nobody really knows how long, but ultimately we know that this fossil fuel isn't going to last forever. We got to make changes. Right now, we don't really have the infrastructure for all electric cars, so we're making the switch, and you're starting to really see it with hybrid vehicles. I wasn't super stoked initially, except for the output numbers of the 4xe, until I started to learn about it. The numbers on paper don't look great, but when you start to understand how that vehicle works and if you know how to use the vehicle and drive it, the numbers work out very well. So
I've driven one.
Oh, I know. Yeah.
So I'll say, without knowing how to drive it, it's fun. It
makes
different.
as much power, usable power as a 392 does. I don't know, comparatively speaking. I didn't research quarter-mile numbers or 0 to 60 numbers.
It gets up and goes.
They do hustle, but it is very comparative, to the 392.
Wow.
So right now, what's big is what we call a series regenerative braking and plug-in hybrids. Okay, and basically what that is we can charge it one of two ways. We can plug it into the wall, right, and we might get
plug it in,
70 miles,
right?
50 miles, depending on how you drive it, the weather, the whole 9 yards. The other way we can do it is we can regenerative recharge it. So that reverses polarity in the motors, and we use the motor to slow the vehicle, which, we actually use the energy, the momentum of the vehicle, the motion of the vehicle. Billy, help me out. What's that? Newton's third law?
What? Every action has a equal and opposite reaction.
Yeah, let's let it go. I'm drawing a blank. But ultimately, we're using the lost energy from the brakes. That energy you usually use. So energy can't be created and destroyed.
Right.
No,
so
conservation of energy.
That's it. Thank you. So we're taking that when we hit the brakes on a vehicle. That energy, the motion of the vehicle, is converted to heat. It's lost energy.
Right.
By reversing the polarity in the motors, we apply. We're taking that energy
an
and
opposite force.
Right, and putting it back into the battery. Right. Essentially, we're turning the motor.
Well, every
engine,
every motor is a generator, and every generator is a motor.
Well, it's true but not true. So when you get into, and we talk about it in here, DC motors are really hard to do that with. And that's one of the cool things about this. They figured out a way to flip it on the stator so that you can do it.
Right.
But ultimately, what's cool about the 4xe is it adds a third way to recharge it. So that's got 2 electric motors, and we're going to talk about all the components, but we can use one of those motors to recharge or drive the second battery that's running off the engine, which ultimately increases the efficiency. So we'll get into the details of that. But first, we need to talk about the components on the vehicle. So the 2-liter TDI 4-cylinder engine is a standard and only engine currently that you can get this with. And that, I believe, that has to do with some GVWR stuff because we add some weight to this vehicle.
Right. Adding battery always adds weight.
Absolutely.
Always. Yep.
But a great little engine, does a ton of power on its own. What is it, 270 horse and 290 foot-pounds of torque, 295 foot-pounds of torque or whatever.
It's a great little engine.
Squeezing the snot out of 26 pounds of boost. That is just...
I want to put a blow-off valve on it.
Yeah, I mean, they're cool.
And then sound awesome.
And then 10-to-1 compression. Nobody does 10-to-1 compression in a turbo engine.
So they're going to be blowing up left and right.
Nah, they're going to. I think they're going to be able to control it. Behind that's an 8-speed, what we call ZF transmission, and that transmission we use in everything. Ram truck. It's in Grand Cherokee.
Very reliable.
It is very reliable.
It's smooth.
Yep. 8-speed automatic transmission. Now there's different variations of that, but pretty much all the ZF transmissions are the same. Then we have 2 electric motors. We have a P1 motor, which is driven by a belt from the engine. It can be both a generator or a motor, and we can do that by switching the poles on the stator. So that's how we get a DC motor to switch.
Now, does the computer control that?
The computer controls that, yeah.
We don't have to flip a switch in the cockpit.
Well, we're going to talk about there are some options, which is what makes the 4xe really cool.
I like it.
Now, warning. I'm going to tell people this because
Warning.
it was
Warning.
It was very the class I attended. This was pretty prominent. That belt that drives, so that engine sits on the right side, or motor sits on the right side of the engine, and what that P1 motor does is it helps assist when it's in motor mode. When it's an electric motor, it assists the engine. So
Yep.
it's got a belt that goes around from a pulley on the motor to the crankshaft, to a pulley on the crankshaft, and it'll help to spin the 2-liter engine. Now, when it's in regenerative mode, the engine drives the belt and turns the electric motor, produces electricity, and we can put that to the P2 motor. However, you can imagine if that motor creates, I believe it's 44 horsepower, if it's creating 44 horsepower and has to drive an engine by a belt, that belt's got to be under some serious tension.
Yeah.
So there's a specific procedure to remove that belt. Make sure you follow it. To boot, that motor, that electric motor, if it ever has to be removed, is definitely a 2-man job. It's a heavy electric motor.
Okay.
Okay. So the second motor, the P2 motor, resides in the transmission. So there is a on-off clutch. There is a ILE clutch, which is a slipper clutch, and there is the P2 electric motor. All of these replace the torque converter. There is no torque converter in this transmission.
So you
So-
use a set of clutch packs.
Well, no, it's not even. It sort of is.
Clutches.
Clutch is right. So it's got the on-off clutch basically disconnects the front drivetrain. Okay, so for 2 purposes solely: one, to drive the vehicle with all electric, so we don't have to have the engine running in the front. 2, for when we come to stops, we've got to disconnect it.
Right.
Okay, so we do it for that as well. The ILE clutch is a slipper clutch in the back, and ultimately that's the clutch that applies traction, so you don't have a sudden jerk when you go to pull out and things like that.
Yeah.
Okay, so the ILE clutch is in the back. Motor is sandwiched between them, and that is also a permanent magnet motor. The battery is made by Samsung. It is a 96 cell, 380. It's nominally not 380 volts, but it's considered a 400 volt system. And it weighs.
That's even weird.
So
Priuses run on a 480 volt system.
yeah, yep.
So they're using a 400 volt.
They're using a
system?
400 volt system. The
Porsche uses a 600.
I know they're all over the.
system.
Yep.
Thing about Porsches, though, they figured out how to deliver all that power to that motor instantaneously. That's the one thing Porsche figured out how to do.
I mean, all electric motors just get up and go immediately.
So there is no doubt about it. The torque curve is completely linear. Like there is no, there's nothing quicker. So this is why hybrids are so great. And I'm going to say this outright. Gas engines, a small, super efficient gas engine like this, it's great in the highway.
Yeah.
Electric motors, A super efficient, small gas engine is not good from a get-go. So I best of both worlds.
Right.
I can accelerate. And it's not that this 2 liters is a slouch. Everybody I talk to, I've driven them. They're quick, but they're not as efficient as an electric motor. So now I've got the most efficient, to accelerate, and I've got the gas engine to run down the highway. But yeah, now this original system, this is sort of the original hybrid system, if you remember, was a 48 volt system with only the P1 motor. So we had a P1 motor on it just to help drive and increase the efficiency when pulling out.
Yep.
So now it's a 380 volt, 400, considered a 400 volt system, Samsung battery. Weighs in at 360 pounds.
That's a heavy set of batteries.
That's a heavy set of batteries. So problem is it's a little bit above the center line of the wheel, so it changes the center of gravity a little bit. Not a ton, though. They did a pretty good job of keeping it pretty low and inside the vehicle.
Yeah.
Because you don't want that to take a hit. Battery like that takes a hit and you tear a hole in it. That's lithium ion. So
That goes boom.
yeah, it's going to make some big sparks.
Definitely going to generate some heat for sure.
My question is how do we put the biggest, widest axles possible on this thing? Drop the axles in line with the battery.
It's a good idea.
And put a super amount of down travel on this bitch.
Yep.
And then we go wheeling.
That's good point. And
And
that's pretty
put
easily done. We
giant,
just got to
like,
cut up the body and some
43s.
coilovers. No
Just
problem.
wide.
Yeah.
Sit
Then we don't have
low.
to, yeah.
A lot of down travel.
Well, we don't want it too wide because it's tough in PA, in the
It is.
Northeast.
Yep.
But we cut the body up and get them
No,
way
I'm
up in
saying
there.
just standard full width. We're all right.
Yeah. So the IDM Logic Module is the module that controls everything. That sits kind
Jeep, if you hear this, I want to do it. Have one sitting in my driveway.
of... they're shipping
I
in
hear
here
them,
now.
I hear them backing up. They're
Right now.
Right now.
So it's got an IDM Logic Module. They call it IDM, but it's basically the Logic Module. You asked, do we have to do this? No. This is all computer controlled. And that resides under the rear door. So the driver's side, back by the rear door, not under the door, but that area under there, covered by a huge skid plate because it is an expensive module.
Yeah, and I mean, there's nothing there as it is, as a general rule on that side.
Right. But it does. I've looked at them. They do hang down a little bit,
Yeah.
but it's got a good beefy skid plate on it,
Yeah.
and hopefully, I don't know.
Would it be something that maybe an aftermarket would?
I'm sure if there is
Move it
not
above the
already,
axle?
well, it might be too big for that, but I'm sure if there is not already, somebody makes a big old Rubicon Express gas tank skid to cover that too.
Right, yeah.
So
Anything like 1/4-inch steel.
yeah, right. Terry proof. Anybody want to test their stuff out? Billy and Terry. There you go.
Yeah, we're your people.
I will break it.
Yeah. So this part is, and this kind of gives you an idea of the complexity of the system. 3 separate cooling circuits for this. So lithium-ion batteries run best at 80 degrees Fahrenheit. So that's one of them. We've got a cooling circuit to keep it cool. Okay.
Yeah.
We've also got a circuit we use coolant to warm it up as well to keep it
Too cold.
Yep. So that increases the efficiency of the battery. We have the engine cooling system.
Right.
Okay.
Well,
Was that
batteries-
a circuit, though, technically?
Batteries
it's
discharge.
separate. It's
It
a
is.
separate cooling circuit.
Batteries discharge really quickly in the cold.
Yes.
Really quickly.
Yep.
So the 2/3 gone.
Yeah. So we warm it up with
So
the
you want
coolant.
to keep it warm.
Yep.
What about a fourth transcooler?
Yeah, but that
Technically.
well, yeah, I guess you would, but I think as far as the hybrid system goes, they talked about the 3 of them.
Okay.
So the other one is electronics. That module underneath gets that hot.
I was gonna
That
say it probably warms
Yep.
up too. Yeah.
So that actually has its own coolant circuit as well. All of these are heated or cooled additionally by not heated but cooled additionally by electric AC compressor. That is again. No, I'm sorry. It's only the battery that cools. So it'll cool the battery. If the battery gets too warm, it'll use that to cool it. Uses the coolant circuit to warm it up. It has a
Right.
heater in it that warms it up. So, and again, 80 degrees Fahrenheit seems to be
that's the sweet
Ideal.
spot for
Yes.
batteries
Right,
anyway.
right.
Yep.
It's got a charge module. That's what we plug into the side of the vehicle, which is weatherproof. I'm sorry, charge module on the charge port is weatherproof. And then we've got a 5 indicator light system to indicate what our
Bloop, bloop,
correct.
bloop,
Each one is 20%.
bloop.
Stands for 20%. And then additionally, that is our fault for the system. If you have 2 outside lights flashing, indicates a fault in the hybrid circuit. They call it goal posting.
I mean, your shit don't work.
It means your shit don't work. So the operations, we have a series hybrid, which uses the P1 motor to provide power to the P2. And we can also use the P1 to regenerate power on braking. So
Right.
we're flipping the polarity on the stator, which turns the motor from a motor to a generator.
Yep.
And then that magnetism, that feedback is what creates the braking force. But we recapture that energy and put it
right back into the battery.
Right. We have a parallel hybrid version, so that's high. We use that for high torque requests. So it uses. So when Billy's like that fucker cruises, that's It's like,
Yeah.
oh, Billy got in a car. Let's do high torque request.
right.
It uses both motors to create maximum torque. Okay, so like full throttle mode, it goes into screw EPA. Let's MPGs. Let's
burn some
let's
fuel.
burn some fuel. So we're using the gas engine. We're using both the electric motors, and that's how we hit 470 foot-pounds of torque in that.
And that's called party mode.
It's
For all
called
those
party
people,
mode.
so
I love it.
It is
Party,
part
party mode.
We have, oh man, what happened? My computer just went to, so full electric mode, which we have no engine. It's the P1 motor is only used for regen on D-cell. It
Okay.
uses the P2
so
motor.
no gas motor.
No gas motor.
P1's not doing anything other than reverse polarity,
That's it.
doing regeneration when it slows down.
P2 is driving it. Right.
Perfect.
And then we have park neutral mode, which basically if you're parked or in neutral, the engine turns P1 to generate power for the battery while we're sitting there and idling. Okay. Now, that's how it figures that's its core modes of operation. But then if you're sitting in one of those, there's some cool buttons located off to the left of the dashboard.
Yeah.
So the first one
right below your light switch.
Yep.
You know how they do lights
Yep.
before lockers? So that they did lights before your hybrid modes.
And if you get a Rubicon, there's but that's over in the center of the dash.
That's in the center,
that
yeah.
way.
It's a little flippy switch. Hybrid mode. So if you put it in hybrid mode, the idea is the vehicle will figure out the most efficient way to run, whether it's gas in the P1 or high torque request or using P1 to regenerate P2. It figures all that out. E-save mode that's going to save all the electricity. Let's say you want to go four-wheeling and you want to use the electric mode when you're four-wheeling. You put it in e-save mode and it keeps the engine on and does not use the electric motors. The electric mode turns the engine off and gives you all electricity. There is also a max regen. I put regen mode, meant regen button, that you can use like D-cell down on hills. So if you hit that button, which is located to the left right under the HVAC controls, it'll use both motors to create to regen as much as it possibly can. It does it as efficiently as it can. If you're in stop and go traffic, driving in the city, you hit that regen mode, max regen mode, and every time you decel or go to hit the stop, go to hit the brakes, it's going to feel like, that thing's on like a bungee cord or something behind you. It just, slows down. Like
It's like maximum exhaust brake on a diesel.
It's really, that's a good analogy.
Yep.
And it feels very much the same way.
Or slamming your Jeep into second gear at 40 miles an hour.
Yeah, right. So there is that. So by the numbers, and I didn't put
Which,
this
by the way,
in
don't
there.
do that.
Yeah, no.
Don't
The
do anything else.
hybrid vehicle, there's a 22-mile range. Now, when you think about it, okay, that's not that much. And this is what I've been thinking a lot about. But if I drive, let's say that I've got a 22-mile trip, and we'll just use round numbers.
Yeah.
So I get to work. I have no way to charge it at work. There's no charging stations, and I have to drive back on gas.
Yep.
I've just doubled my fuel mileage.
Yep.
If I typically get 15, I'm now getting 30 on it. Okay?
Right.
Now, that's not going to be the case all the time, but if you use the vehicle, if you're smart about how you use it, if you think out, how you're going to do this, like you drive in on E only and then drive home in hybrid, you'll probably pick up, it'll start to use the P1 to regenerate, and you'll pick up a little bit of energy on the way home. It becomes a very efficient system.
Yep. And running in hybrid mode, is it about 40 miles a gallon or close to that, high 30s?
Again, though, it depends. And that's why it's really hard to put a number on that. Okay. So, it depends on hills. It depends on
all those things.
Temperature and all that. But you could safely figure, I would say 30 to 35. If you were in hybrid or e-save, if you used e-save, drove to work and back. Now, the more you drive it, the less that's going to go down. So because that original range is only 20 miles.
Right.
So if you put it in hybrid mode, then I think you could probably squeeze 30 out of hybrid mode.
Okay.
It's really hard to figure out, and there's
will it fit 37s?
with a little bit of a lift, sure. But I'm curious to see, like, I'm dying to buy one of these because I want to start screwing around. I'm curious to see how the battery life is affected by larger wheels.
I would bet
So
quite a bit. I mean,
it sounds like we need 2 of these now, Jeep.
we do one to spec out and one to.
Looking out to you
Yes,
guys.
I will give them all the spreadsheets they want.
Yeah.
I'm just curious to see, how tire size affects the range of the battery, the efficiency
Every tire
of
size, 33.
Yes.
34,
Well, so it comes with 33 from the factory if you get it on a
35s, 36s, 37s. We'll try them all, man.
Yeah, 40s.
It's all in the research, name of science.
But ultimately, what's cool about this system, and you were talking about Ford has an axle assembly that you
Correct.
just kind of throw under your vehicle.
Well, you can.
You can.
Ish.
You don't
Not
really
easily.
throw any decent hybrid system. But you know what's cool about this? That ZF transmission, remember we talked about that being used in everything?
Yep.
This is probably the technology we will see for a majority of
Yep.
the heavier Dodge, Ram vehicles.
That drift toward the
Right, that are
the hybrid.
Right. And to boot, it's also the same system that Pacifica uses. So they've already got a system adapted for mid-size front-wheel drive vehicles. This will be available for, I'm sure we'll see it in Ram. We'll see it in other Jeep vehicles, Gladiator at some point.
Yep.
There is some talk about probably be a little bit till we see it in trucks because not really sure how it's duty rated, etc. But I wouldn't be surprised if 10 years down the road you could pick up this transmission, not in all of this glory, but in some watered down version where it's a bolt-in to a regular Jeep, and now you've got some sort of hybrid.
Right. So a retrofit.
Right, exactly.
I'll still have my JK by then.
Yeah, probably me too. Still paying on it.
So a
Can
lot
I
of people,
refinance it again for more parts?
a lot of people are using these in different ways, and I've been reading a lot of people use it all gas to where they're going, and then when they're tooling around wherever they are, whether it be off roading or at the
E-mode.
beach or whatever,
Or
in electric mode, right? And I just think it's brilliant.
So I wasn't stoked until I found out how the system operates. This system is very similar to like the Porsche system you were talking about, to some of the Lexus hybrids.
Yeah.
I think like a Prius series type hybrid is awesome to run back and forth to work. It is probably one of the most efficient vehicles. Like a Prius is one of the best hybrids in the market.
Right.
Hate to say it because I'm not a Toyota fan, but it is.
If you
But
wanna
when you
drive
wanna- yeah,
a
but if-
wedge.
But it's true, But if you want to drive, like if you're going, like when I go wheeling, I'm not thinking about what kind of gas mileage I can save. Now I have the availability if I use this vehicle smart to increase my MPGs to be a conscious carbon.
I get about
carbon
2.5 miles a gallon in the buggy.
Yeah, so it works for so many different things, and I think. If you want power, there is a ton of power there. You want efficiency? Again, don't expect to get the same efficiency you're getting out of a Prius, but you're in a lot heavier vehicle. You're still going to increase the efficiency over a mid-size SUV, normal SUV. And I think that's what's so cool about it is the versatility of this.
Yeah, I think that's the thing that when first on the rumor mill the 4xe was coming out.
Yeah,
you got all the. Oh, I'll take gas any day of the week. And I think myself included, we've kind of changed the way we look at that. And I'm as excited about the 4xe as I was about my JK when I got it.
Yeah,
it's something I'm going to be looking at in the next year or two. With that,
I would love to have one as well, and maybe in my future. But the way I felt when it's funny you should say that because when it first came out, Terry, I remember, and I don't know if you remember this. Do you remember GM coming out with a Suburban that was a hybrid?
Yes.
And it got like 20 miles to the gallon.
Yeah.
And I was like, what's the point going from 15 to 20?
Well, you're talking about a heavy vehicle.
Yes.
Right, and a Suburban, you could. I don't know that you can make a heavier vehicle.
No.
And our Jeeps aren't light,
No.
and we add weight to them every day.
Yeah.
Yep. We go and add armor. We go and add what So we kind of take that for granted and go, we're going to lose power because even just adding weight to our JK, we're losing power.
Well, rotational mass, wheels and
Right.
tires. I mean, that's huge.
But to have a hybrid engine, it always had that stigma that it was.
If you add more mass to the wheels, will you generate more electricity?
Well, that's questions that I have.
Right.
That's what I want to know.
I think it would.
I knew
Somebody
you would
like
have
me.
that question
yes.
because I have that question.
Well, I've ridden with people in their Prius,
Right.
and their Prius behaves differently when I get into it
Right.
because it just simply doesn't have the. It's
Right.
not built for
Right.
adding
Right.
my rotational mass
right.
into it.
You're not rotational mass.
Oh,
Your
I'm
potential.
potential energy is what I am.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
are. Your potential.
I've got
And also
potential, mommy.
momentum.
Did you hear?
You got plenty of potential over
But
there, buddy.
I think they've kind of put that to bed with this, and especially
Yes.
Easter Jeep Safari having it out there, and
So I just assumed, I'm like, this is another one of those things where you're going to gain some efficiency, but is it really going to be worth the price tag? And, as I read, I lightly researched it, I would say, prior to this training course that I took.
sure.
And I heard mixed reviews on it. After I took this course, I'm stoked. This is phenomenal technology. If you're hearing bad reviews, it's because the expectations are set either up where hybrids are, like the Prius, which just isn't going to happen because, like you said,
Right.
it's a fairly big vehicle,
Yeah.
fairly heavy vehicle. Or, you get people that drive it to the trail and they get 5 miles on the trail wheeling in E mode, or 10 miles on the trail, don't get their full 22 or 25 or whatever they're expecting. You can't. You're in 4 low. You're
or they're just sitting with their vehicle on the entire time.
yeah,
Which
I mean
drains
AC
battery,
or whatever, So yeah, there's
factors.
you got to learn how to drive these. It's not like driving a gas engine.
Right.
There are certain things that I know people that drive hybrids, and it's like a game for them.
Yeah,
Playing to
right,
see.
right,
It really
right. It
is.
is.
You're like,
It
oh,
is.
hill. I'm gonna, I'm getting off the accelerator and I'm gonna coast and
Right.
regen, or, and there's like different
man.
ways to work the throttle to get more regen, and it
We'd
is.
have like a chart game, like
yeah.
track my fitness and be like track
my
efficiency.
e-save.
Yeah. Don, I appreciate all the research that you put into that. I'm going to throw it out there to listeners. If you have a 4xe, you have experience with this, we'd love to hear about it. Send us an email. Let us know what your experience is with it. I'm tempted right now, if anybody had one on lot, to go and check it out for a couple weeks. And
But with this options.
yeah.
Right.
Yeah, 4xe, yeah.
Well, no, there's some 4xEs out there that don't have these options.
Oh.
Is that correct, Don?
What's that?
So, like, only these options that we're talking about, that
Right.
you're speaking about right now,
Right.
are only on a very specific model, specific
Yeah. So the 4
setup.
right.
It's like there's 4xEs out there. There's normal 4xEs that are the regular hybrid system.
No, this
No,
is
it's all
this
four-
is
it's
all the
This is
4xEs.
all
All
Yeah.
4xEs.
Yeah.
Okay.
So the older ones, you're thinking of the older ones, the 2 liters that you would get with the P1, just
Right,
the P1
just
engine.
the P1 engine.
So that's a 48 volt system. That is not near what this is. That
Okay.
was I think that was a shot in the dark on Chrysler's behalf.
Gotcha.
You didn't gain a whole lot with it, but
Right.
also additionally, we use the P1 to start we can use either of the 2 motors to start it too. Just want to throw that out there. So, we're able to spin this over a little quicker than we normally would with a regular starter for stop-start technology.
Perfect. All right. So if you want to have your email read, send it to us
Send
about
it to Terry
4xE.
at
No, info.
jeeplifepodcast.com because obviously you don't know what info at jeeplifepodcast.com is.
Where else can people find us, Bill?
I don't know because they keep sending it to your personal email.
I have no idea what you're talking
No,
about.
but I want everybody to head over to linktr.ee/Jeep Life Podcast.
Don't forget about the competition.
Our contest.
So we have a lot of contests going on right now.
Yeah.
We have our YouTube contest, so make sure you head over to our YouTube channel and subscribe. It's the only way you're going to get hooked up when we hit our 750th subscriber.
And we're on our way.
YouTube. We're on our way. So make sure you hit that subscribe button, turn on the bell, do whatever you need to do. Also, there's the Patreons. If you would like to support the podcast in any possible way, if you'd like to make a monthly donation to us of a 3 or a 5 or a... Right? 3, 5...
3, 5, and 10.
10.
Yeah, 10.
Yeah, that's going to get you hooked up with some extra content, extra stuff, early, sooner, awesome, cool stickers, hats, this, that, and the other thing. So head over to our Patreon website. And then we have our Kahoot Contest going on. That was just created by Mr. Kahoot by himself over there.
That's me.
That's you.
It's me.
Do we have any other contests going on right now? I feel like we do.
No.
Maybe?
Well, Mark just reminded me that he did send an email this week to info at Jeep Life Podcast. He became a Patreon member, too, so I'm going to celebrate him.
Oh, nice.
So just keep doing what you're doing. We appreciate it. And it's illegal for him to send beer.
What?
There's
stupid trade laws.
There's literally international laws and state laws that prevent that. That's right. I forgot he sent that.
But you know what you can send? $20.
And he did. He was
awesome.
As a Patreon supporter, we appreciate
Nice.
that.
Cool.
So we're going to use your money to go buy some beer.
That's right. And Mark, we appreciate that. We appreciate all of our Patreon supporters. So come out there and throw us a little love. We don't ask for a lot, but just throw us a little love. We'll keep giving you great content as much as we possibly can. And for my friend Bill, my friend Don, myself Terry, thanks for tuning in with us tonight. Here's a big Jeep wave to you, everybody. Have a good night. Woo.
Keep on jeeping on.
Damn, that was Don. Dr.
Yes, sir.
Don.
Good?
Took it to school, man.
Don
Enjoy it.
actually lost me about halfway through.
Took it to
I lost
school.
myself, too.
Yeah, man.
I kept forgetting words.
Regen.
Words are hard.
Autocorrect didn't help you because there were a couple times when
I'd
autocorrected
say
and I was like,
auto-corrected to other stuff.
I have no idea where this is going.
They screwed it up more than...
Oh, my God.
Yeah. No.
Well,
I'm setting up our Kahoot right now.
You are awesome. Now, guys that are listening to us live, we appreciate you coming on. It makes the show
It really
1,000
does.
times better.
Absolutely.
And we appreciate it and everything that you guys do. Enjoyed hanging out with you last night, Mike. Jerry, I think it's about time for me to do an oil change. I did one, but I think I need to get a lot more miles out of my oil change and everything. So I might hit you up. Don's brain was smoking. It was he was putting it all out. Porzy, what's happening?
Porzy jumped on.
Yeah, look at that. But it was cool to hang out with you guys tonight, and we appreciate it.
It was fun.
I have to get up ass early in the morning, so I'm going to bid everybody a good evening, and thanks for hanging out with us. Take care, man.
Night, everyone.
See you.